A lot of people call me the meat man, and yes, I do love cooking meat. But you know what I also love cooking? I love cooking seafood. It's one of my favourite things. Now, to start with, I've got mussels. I'm going to cook these off and then open them up and take them out of the shell. That'll come in later on, but I need to get the mussels cooking first. You can see these are beautiful big mussels, straight out of Port Phillip Bay, and I've taken the beards off them already. Now, I've got a pot over here that's already on, and I throw the mussels straight into the pot. You want it nice and hot, and here that sizzles straight away. To that, I'll add some shallots that have been chopped all the way through, and some white wine goes in there as well. Now, this will cook really, really quickly. I'll just stir that around for a second, pop the lid on, and they will steam open in a few minutes. Now the barramundi, you can see I've got some great barramundi. Australia produces, we are the only barramundi people in the world, and this is fantastic. Now, the barramundi I've left the skin on. The reason I've left the skin on is because I want to crisp it up. To crisp up the skin, I'm going to use my stainless steel pan with a mesh coating. That means I can seal off the fish and get a lovely crisp skin without having to worry about it sticking, and that's really important. And one of the most important things is I can use stainless steel utensils in that pan, and I'll show you how easy it is. I've got the pan on already. I'll turn it up a little bit, so I want a fair bit of heat in there. Some olive oil around the pan, and that will help to make it non-stick. In goes the fish like that. Pop it down there like that, and I'll get a nice crispy skin in no time. High heat to sear it off and to cook the barramundi, and then I'll turn it down nice and low to cook the rest of the seafood and make the sauce. That's the sign of a good pan. You can see in no time, that skin is crisped up beautifully. We've got a beautiful colour on it. I love that darkened look on the skin. It makes it nice and crispy. It's almost like the barramundi has its own layer of bacon. Now, I'll let this cook for another couple of minutes on this side here, till it's almost, probably 2/3 the way through. And that way the fish will stay nice and moist. And the beauty of using a pan like this is I can use metal equipment. Stainless steel equipment in the pan doesn't affect it one single little bit. Now my mussels are cooked all the way through. You can see they're foaming up and they're ready to go. Once they're ready like this, you can see they've opened up. I'll take all the mussels out of there like that and keep the juice as well. That's really important. Got a great flavour. In it goes like that. A couple more minutes and I'll take this fish out, let this cool down. I'll take all the mussels out of the shell, open some oysters, get some prawns ready, some scallops. This will be cracking. Now my barramundi's cooked, my oysters are open, mussels are cleaned and opened up, and you can see I've got the juice in there as well. Really important, because that's going to give me some flavour. Now the shallots, I've got them peeled and cut in half. Shallots are great to use. They've got a lovely sweet onion flavour without being over the top or too intense. And you can slice them nice and thin like this or dice them. My pan's just starting off and it's actually quite cool. I can throw the shallots in now and add a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of butter just to sweat them down nicely. And that's the beauty of using a pan like this. You can cook it really high temperature with steak and fish, or you can turn it down nice and low and cook your seafood nice and gently. Nothing will stick to it, and that's really, really important. Butter is one of my favourite things. I'll take a little bit of this butter here and start sweating it off. Just make sure you take the paper off the butter because it doesn't like having paper in there as well. Now just stirring that around nice and gently like this, or of course you could use a wooden spoon just to make sure that the shallot cooks nice and evenly. While it's at this stage, I'll put some salt in this, a little pinch of salt like that. And you can see the pan is getting really hot quickly. And just stirring it around like this, it starts to melt beautifully. Now, I'll put some prawns in here. I'm thinking 2 prawns per piece of fish would be perfect. This is a really lovely little dish. In they go like that. Prawns and basically all seafood cooks really, really quickly. And the trick is to cook it all at the last second. Now, I've got some scallops here as well. These are really thin pieces of scallops, so I'll put these in last minute as well. Stir that around, minute or so, and these prawns should be cooked all the way through. Now, with a set of tongs, I just like to turn them over. And as I said before, with this pan, you can use metal utensils, no worries at all. Turn that over like that, and you can see they're nearly cooked all the way through. And the shallots are softened up beautifully. Now I'll add some white wine in there, just about a quarter of a cup there, and some nolly prat as well, which is a vermouth with some lovely flavours to it. Stir that around and let those prawns poach a little bit in that liquid. This will take a minute or so, which will give me time to cut my herbs and get my veggies ready. There we go. I've got my dill, my chervil and chives chopped nice and fine. And of course, if you wanted to use a little bit of thyme in there or parsley, that's fine as well. I probably wouldn't go for coriander, a bit too strong, but hey, it's your dish, you can do whatever you want. Now the sauce is coming up beautifully, and this is the time I turn it right down. I'm going to throw my veggies straight into the pan here like this, just to get them cooking really quickly. I don't want anything to cook too much, I just want it to warm up and get a bit of colour. In goes the scallops as well, plenty of scallops in there. Turn that up just a little bit more, and I'll add the mussels and the mussel juice as well. Just a little bit of mussel juice in there because it is quite strong, and one of the things you will work out is it is quite salty as well, so not too many of them. And as that's coming around nice and gently like that, that won't take too long. I'll put the oysters in here, and by the time this comes together, the oysters will be just puffed up, nice and tasty. This will be a cracker. You can see the barramundi's heating up beautifully in there and soaking up all of those juices. Pop the barramundi off to the side here like this, turn the heat off, and at this stage I put in the herbs, a nice amount of herbs straight on top of it, and some chopped tomato. This tomato's had the seeds and the skin taken out of it, and I added the last second because I don't want it to overcook, I want it to become part of the sauce. Now I'll bring the pan over to the side here like this and just spoon that seafood on the top of it. Lovely rich sauce there, lots of lovely ingredients as well, and that crispy skin. And with a spoon like this, I make sure I get all of that juice or the liquid straight off there like that. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? Got a great smell to it and lots of lovely Australian seafood in it. Now, I'll just turn that around, pick up one of these scallops here. Just cooked beautifully. Nice and tender, nice and moist. That's really important with seafood, not to overcook it. Look at this crispy skin. Lovely flavour to it, all the way through there like that. That just comes away beautifully. I love the flavour of barramundi. It's sort of got that sweetness, but also that beautiful fishiness as well. And it's not too strong. This is a great little dish. Lots of great seafood in there, all cooked to perfection in the one pan.